Hi. Nice to see you guys tonight. This is my first broadcast and first podcast too. Um, we're going to start out our new year with a lot of positive energy. Um, we're going to go through a lot of different things with this podcast over a period of time, and hopefully, we'll touch on a lot of different subjects that are metaphysical, esoteric, some of the false narratives that we've been fed. Hey, Johnny Wireman. I should have known. We're going to touch on a lot of false narratives that we've been fed in life and try to dig in behind the truths that have been hidden over generations of what is our actual reality. Who are we actually? What is a human? What is a spirit? What is an energy? What is a being? Um, Too often, I think um, we as human beings find ourselves lesser than what we are, but that has been a programmed response by many. Hey, La Lulu. That's a programmed response that has been put into us to, in many ways, to dwarf or to bridle our power and who we are and who we can be. Um, you make people powerless and they're easier to control. Um, and something that has been made taboo over the years through various religions as well as teachings that we go through is the paranormal world has become taboo. Hello, Robin. um, why we are made to feel taboo about something that literally millions and millions of people say that they experience and that is a reality for themselves in their own life is something that we need to question. Why do we feel that we cannot acknowledge something that seems to be a natural part of our life, a natural part of our existence and our actual personal being? And so hopefully with this podcast, we'll be able to delve into some of those things, um, and through the generations and the historical, cultural um, ramifications of that. And maybe we'll uncover a lot of answers, or maybe we'll come up with more questions than we do answers. But we'll try to go into like the native earth effigies and go into a lot of the astro archeo alignments that we have, a lot of the mythologies like the Tuatha De Danann or say Serpent Mound, um, a lot of the areas on our planet Earth with the ley lines or paranormal activities like Skinwalker Ranch or different areas, go into different topics about ghosts and mediums and paranormals, and also a lot of the things that are just part of our everyday life that we don't fully grasp. Hey, Jamie, that we don't really fully grasp the true impact that it has, like our words, our thoughts, our actions, our habits. Um, Life is an illusion in many things, and there's an illusion that is given to life. And physics tells us that they have a thing that is, it's a long determined fact that matter doesn't really exist. Everything that is energy, or everything is energy that is like vibrating on different states and different levels, whether it's a crystal, whether it's your soda can. Um, there's a lot of things that we do go ahead and we realize and we comprehend it's vibrating, but just to literally sit there and think, okay, like my glasses, those are vibrating. What? It's hard to accept that, but that's what it is. So when we think about the fact that everything is vibrating and everything is energy, then we need to think about how and what type of influx are we putting into the energy and the environment around us? And what are we having come back to us? And is there any way that we could possibly affect what is coming back to us? Um, I decided to start out the first four shows helping us to get into a situation to where we're preparing ourselves for what we're going to learn throughout these podcasts in the future. If there's something that you like, go ahead and hit the like button or the love button. If you think something's funny, which usually I do, if I, hit the laugh button, share it if you think there's something that your friends or your family or loved ones might find interesting or might even need. Um, and hopefully we'll earn you back by the end of this episode. I'm going to read for you a couple things, and set the groundworks for what I am hoping to do with this podcast and probably the next three. And that is to get rid of any and to help you yourself while you're off the podcast to get rid of any toxic, negative, or residual energies that you might have left over from not just last year, but maybe even a lifetime of baggage or a lifetime of toxic energies. Too often, we go around with this stuff and like, oh, well, I'm going to start, New Year's resolutions, but we don't think about getting rid of all the stuff that we're still carrying around. It's not just spring cleaning, it's spring cleaning for ourselves. And the New Year's, it's not just starting resolutions and new goals. We actually have to start presenting and living and interacting and having a new relationship with our own life and the energy around us. Um, Nobel Prize winning physicist Werner Heisenberg once stated, atoms or elementary particles themselves are not real. They form a world of potentialities or possibilities rather than one of things or facts. This energy vibrates at an infinite number of subtle frequencies that cause it to appear as all the different creations we see in our world. Frequencies appear as the creations that we see in our world. There has been a great deal of research in recent years as to whether the universe we live in is actually a holographic experience, and it seems that it is very close to the truth. You may hear that referred to as living in a simulation or the Matrix. The movie The Matrix made that more of a common term for us to understand. And so it seems that life is more of an energy flow than a collection of solid things. It's not your bar stool, it's not your breakfast nook. It's not your BMW. It's an energy flow in your life. And what that means for us is that if we stay conscious, thinking in advance, we stay conscious of the energy that we contain within ourselves based on the emotions that we feel, and your thoughts very much control and steer your emotions. That's your helm. We can make the deliberate choices that alter our frequency and create the realities that we desire. You don't want to sit around and continuously catch yourself. I had a lady at work today, and it really caught me off guard, but I should have expected this just by looking at this person. The dull skin, the drab appearance, hunched over, just a total lack of zest for life. And she said, "Oh, I can't wait until this day is over." Why would you ever want to wish away an hour of your life? Instead, think of a way that, oh, I can't wait until this happens, that I make my life better. Put your mind somewhere where you're getting a positive energy flow. You don't want to wish your life away. Um, you don't want to say negative things to yourself like, oh, you should have known that me, that always happens to me. You don't want to put that type of a stamp on yourself or in your life and get into the habit of always saying that, like, well, go figure. Of course that would happen. Don't put those kind of stamps in yourself. You want to start giving it a positive energy flow. Start referring and talking to things in words they call it law of attraction, but it is more of a law of attraction. I call it law of creation. And it's where I think more often than saying, like, I'm going to have, you say, I have. I have accomplished this. I'm so glad for what I have. This is going to be so cool. Hi, Kelly. Nice to meet you. I'm doing pretty good. And I hope you are also. Oh, you're from the UK. Hey, thank you. Eventually I'm going to get across the pond. Well, I've been there a few times, but it's been a long time. Um, and I shouldn't say eventually, I'm already across the pond. You have to name and claim that. When we make deliberate choices to alter our frequency and we create the realities that we desire, if we're feeling down about something, try to reframe and re-choose how you're thinking about that and how you're feeling about that, and reframe your whole mental picture that you see in your mind, not just the way you're feeling, not just your talk. You literally want to envision and picture what you're doing. And this is actually working the energy and the energy flows. It's a paranormal. This is not hand you a Xanax, honey, and you're going to be all right. You know, work yourself through this. You have the ability to actually do this and to harness your own powers, your own frequencies, your own energies, and your own reality. You can truly harness your own reality. with a renewed perspective and a higher, more positive energetic vibration, we stand a much better chance of bringing good into our life rather than just continuously repeating that same old mistake. Get out of the hole, Alice. The rabbit's already down the path. You got to start working at it because um, when we get ourselves in that habit of saying things like, "Oh, it's Monday," you know what? You might have just messed up and caused yourself through just the expectation of something negative, of something fantastic happening that Monday. Who knows? You could have looked down and found a $20 bill. That could have been anything else. Instead of going today, "Oh, I can't wait till this day is over." I was happy. I was expecting fun things and exciting things. And I actually met Kyle Swerver of the Reds and other Reds players, which I can't identify them yet. Actually, I'll need Johnny Wireman to help me with that because I don't know who these guys were. But instead, I expected something positive, and I've got even more than what my expectation was. Words are extremely powerful tools. I don't know how to explain that enough. Each letter, each word has a mathematical value that actually, just like computer code, it puts in commandments, basically, is the way I would say the word. Well, it's like commands, just like if you're commanding something, it puts commands into this matrix, a simulation, whatever you want to call it, that we're living in, and mind those. Be very mindful of those. Um, we can use our words to uplift our personal energy and to improve our lives and the lives of others around us. I do fully believe that. Though we're not often conscious of these words that we speak, you have to program yourself to start doing it. When I really first started doing it, I would catch myself being positive, and then I'll be daggone if it wasn't 30 seconds later. "Oh, that neighbor over there. Oh, nope. Go back and think of something positive. Oh, I'm so glad that my plant is doing fantastic today. Oh, man, I can't believe it. I didn't get those tires. Oh, hey, you know what? I'm going to get those tires. I'm so glad that I remembered to get those tires." Oh, then the neighbor comes back in, or you start thinking about the neighbor again. You have to bridle your thoughts. You have to control your thoughts. You have to control your words. Take the helm and steer yourself. Steer your ship through your life. Don't let the storms toss you around. Cut yourself through the storms. Um, the words that we say to others also affect our vibration. You don't want to sit around gossiping. You don't want to sit around gossiping. It's negative. Besides the karma and the other residual effects that will happen from that, you're literally investing into toxic energy in your life. It's not going to help you. Invest into something positive. Invest into yourself. Um, if you have time to gossip, you have time to plant some seeds, plant some herbs, do something positive for yourself. Do your nails. Call your mom up. Do something positive for yourself. Spend a few minutes with somebody that's a chronic complainer, and you will literally feel yourself getting tired. It's because it's taking energy, it's toxic energy. It's taking positive and it's turning it into heavy toxic energy. And that person really doesn't fully understand what they're doing. If you cannot get away from someone that's a chronic complainer, if you're around somebody that's a chronic complainer, you have to find ways to begin to slowly, or as quickly as possible, reduce the time that you spend with that person, because it's not only affecting their life and their energy, it's affecting yours. And it's going to take you off of this path that you're shooting for your goals and your positive energy and your positive law of attraction, to over here. And you're paying attention to the rocks, and you're worried about hitting the rocks, and you're paying so much attention to the rocks that you're going to hit the rocks. So try to avoid those types of people. And there's a saying that my dad used to say. It used to irritate me when he said it, but the older you get, you start realizing somebody was right. And he used to say, kind of like, birds of a feather flock together. If you keep hanging out with negative people, you're going to be negative. It's just that simple. Um, you're going to feel negative. You're going to feel drained and everything else. So also try to make a point and a concerted effort to be around positive people. Be around people that are more positive than you. So positive that sometimes it irritates your soul, like, but you can't help it because you're like, they are kind of fun. That person's pretty cool. And eventually you're going to start developing that same type of a feeling. The more you're around positive people, the more positive you're going to be. The more you use, hey, Curtis, the more you use positive words, the more positive you're going to be. The more you think positive, the more positive your life is going to be. You're going to law of attraction and bring that stuff in. That's what the frequencies are. You're going to bring those frequencies in. And there are going to be times, and it is difficult. I mean, when my mom died, I was positive and stuff, but when my mom died, I had to drag myself out of a dark spot. This was my mom. This was my best friend. Hi, Kimberly. And I didn't. I mean, it hit right at the holidays. It hit at Halloween, which was her favorite time of the year. Everything was so difficult. And then what I had to do is, yes, I do mediumship. What I had to do was finally tell myself, hey, you have to do what you say. You have to do your actions. Get yourself up off your butt. I made myself put up, this was in 2020. I made myself put up my Christmas tree. I made myself force myself to say positive things to myself, happy things to myself. I did really good today. I'm so glad that I got up and I got dressed and everything. I might have been crying 30 or 40 minutes later, but I made myself acknowledge the fact that I did something right. I got out of the bed. And each time you do that, give yourself credit for what you do accomplish because you're listening. You're listening to yourself. Besides your children and your family and loved ones are too, but you're listening to you. Um, okay, Kelly, we will end up doing that. I certainly will. And I sure will. And gratitude, yes. See? I'm not sure which language it is, which country she's coming from. I do speak a few languages. I have to see which one it is. But as I slowly kept forcing myself to get positive and to acknowledge the fact that I consciously chose to do something positive, it got easier. And then you start getting your words start getting a little bit more positive. And each little thing, then you start eating healthier, you start thinking healthier, you start feeling healthier, and you slowly get yourself back out of those problems. But when I did this, I also cleansed. I cleansed myself of things that hurt that I'd went through in the past, whether it was things that went through with my mother. People have your parent is a human learning how to be a parent. There's no book. I didn't have books with my kids. And I had to go through that with a lot of residual toxic energies and stuff for me to move forward into a new relationship with my mom, which is a new relationship with yourself. The same thing is when you have a new year that occurs, which is what we have. You have to get rid of that relationship that you're having with your past so that you can have a new relationship with your future. And that includes, whether it be an emotional relationship, a marriage, somebody's passed away, a sexual relationship, a financial relationship, maybe even a schooling relationship, whatever it is that you're going through and you're changing, the very first relationship that you have to have is with yourself. But you have to be able to make yourself do this from a perspective of being positive and expectation and just constantly cleansing yourself. So that's what we're going to try to do right now is we're going to work through a lot of this. We're going to try to learn about how words have power through this episode and how great the power is of our words and how to just choose them wisely. We're going to pull up a quote by Nikola Tesla and something that he had said. Actually, I think I was married to him in another dimension, but I'm not sure. Well, this is Albert Einstein. He's kind of cute too. And people are like, what? Okay, now we know. He says, everything is energy. That's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but to get that reality. Again, he said, you cannot help but to get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. And that's Albert Einstein that said that. Albert Einstein is so intelligent that they actually, it's kind of bizarre if you think about it, but they actually have slides of his brain that scientists still have and have studied for all this time. And we're looking at 3 generations, now probably been 4 generations. that have studied this man because he was so intelligent. And he literally just told us that what we think, what we say, what we expect is going to give us the reality that we want and that we're looking for. Um, that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna read two more quotes for us, and it's Albert. I think it's another one's Albert Einstein and then Nikola Tesla. I think they'll. Are you pulling that one up, Brandon? I have a wizard behind the curtain there working everything. um, what I'll do while he's looking for that, I'll go ahead and I will read that quote for you. Um, the other one that Albert Einstein said was concerning matter, which is what everything is. We have been all wrong. What we called matter is really energy, whose vibration has been lowered to be perceivable by the senses. There is no matter. There is only light and sound. Sound is what you speak. Light is your frequency. So you want to raise your frequency up. You don't want to be this dark, heavy frequency. You want to raise your frequency up to where you're feeling good. Since science has proven that matter is 99.99, and it goes on for a whole bunch of different nines percent empty space. And what makes up this empty space is energy. Energy is everything, and everything is energy. The chair that you're sitting on, your daughter, your puppy, everything that you have is made up of energy, vibrating energy, actually. Crystals, everything that we use, it's energy. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. This is not philosophy. This is physics. That's what Albert Einstein has taught us, the most intelligent man on earth. According to most individuals, they feel that he was. And I actually truly feel that he was also. I'm going to lose you guys here. I'm going to scroll and hitting my button here. Oh, that's wonderful, Kelly. And you feel that you do have a gift also? I'm going to grab my podcast thing here. And you can hear spirit. You can't see them, but you can hear them. That is absolutely wonderful. That means that you are at least acknowledging the frequencies that exist. And the more that you have a relationship with frequencies, the more that you're going to be able to tap into and harness the world that's around you. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to try to pull this one up. Okay, a lot of us, there's a lot of frequencies that we realize exist in the world, say like crystals. A lot of people are already aware that crystals vibrate, and they do vibrate. There's different crystals vibrate at different levels. I'm not going to go into all. I'll do that in a whole completely another different episode, because that's another rabbit hole. So, or not rabbit hole, but it's a very long conversation. And the temperatures of the room and everything that do affect the crystals and how much they vibrate in the levels. But crystals are like a super powerful, stable energy frequency, and a lot of us are too. And it doesn't change. Matter of fact, a lot of crystals that we use and can be used for, there's such a consistent frequency that, like Timex watches uses a quartz. Yeah, right there you go. Timex watches, they use quartz. Why? Because they absolutely positively know for a fact it is going to resonate at this particular frequency. Why does the stability matter? The more stable that something is, and the more stable that its energy is, the more powerful that it is. And that is not just only applicable to crystals or something like that. That applies to us humans. If you're depressed over here this day, oh, I'm so sad. This is just the worst day ever. I just can't stand this. I can't wait till this day is over. And then, 7 hours later, you're like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing in the world. This guy just called me. I'm having so much fun. This is just the greatest day ever. you're not stable. You're doing this. We all have done this. You want to try to keep yourself, I mean, you're still going to have, and you want movement. You don't want to just always be high. People always say, get in the highest frequency and stay in the highest frequency. No, that's not sustainable. You want to be a natural wave of energy, and you want to become balanced, and you want to become a stable energy, because a stable energy is a powerful energy. And hopefully this evening, by the time we get done and by the time the next 4 weeks get over, you'll be able to learn how to harness and stabilize your energy so that you can work towards everything that you need to do to become the strongest version of yourself that you need to. And you can harness the paranormal field and the frequencies that are out there, um, and take advantage of those. I'm going to bring up our first guest. Her name's Christy Sloan, and she is the owner of. Hello, Christy. She's
Hi.
the owner of Empower Studio, and she is in Kentucky. And that is our gorgeous Christy Sloan. And
Oh,
she is a life coach. And I've met her recently. Actually, I did a concert and her husband came and played drums. Her husband's a fantastic drummer, but I found out she's a fantastic drummer too. So I was like, what? So, and actually, they own this whole studio. They're pretty cool. And the more I started learning about Christy, the more impressed that I was, um, with who she was. I mean, she's a beautiful woman. She could be just, she could, you run into a lot of people like that, but instead you can tell that she's chose to be a very strong person, which means that she's grounded her energy. She's found the stability of her energy, so her energy's powerful. And she's able to use this power that she's created within herself to spread outward and to help other people with their lives. And I'm going to let you tell us how that kind of went about.
well, it started with just simply realizing that I needed to make some changes. When you're depressed and you get tired of being depressed, right? And
Right.
you realize that you have complete control over this. And I actually met with a shaman years and years ago, and he said, your soul is just ate up like Swiss cheese. And
Oh,
I said, what do I do? And he said, start meditating and start healing. And that was the very, very first step. And then as soon as I started doing that, I realized I needed to take my health serious, not just, mentally, but physically. So I went on this whole path of weight loss, and, it was just a spiral of goodness. So that's pretty much how it started. And then I created Empower because I want to do the same thing. And, with this process, I feel truly blessed. You know what I mean?
yes.
To fill people with true empowerment, um, just like I wish I would have had. Uh, you know, um, that's basically the best way I can describe it. When people come to me and they say, "You've changed my life," I just I can't tell you, what that does for my soul.
Yeah.
So.
So as you've invested your positive energy
Mhm.
into the world, you actually invested your positive energy into yourself, which let you to be able to invest it into the world, and it's even coming back to you again.
Yeah, and it's a complete cycle because once I realize I have, you know, uh, changed somebody and empowered them, it's funny because then they turn around and they start empowering people, and it's a beautiful cycle. And just like you were saying before, it's just like the affirmations. When we put out good energy, that good energy just comes right back to you.
It really does, and you can feel it.
Hmm. It's
Yeah, you can
powerful.
really feel that.
Hmm.
Actually, I have your pre-weight loss picture.
Oh, go ahead. I'm very proud of it. I am still
I
that
know.
woman. That's me. I love that woman. You
I
know,
do too, actually. I
a
do
lot of
too.
people will look at their weight, look at their before person and say, "I'm not that person." Oh, heck no. That is me. I am
Yeah.
that person. And I love that woman, and I am proud of her.
Yep, and that's Christy there.
Yeah. Uh, so, I think that's important. I think that's important. You got to love yourself, who you were, who you are now, and who you plan to be.
Now, I'm sure that you probably, like when you said you had like the shaman,
Yeah.
when you was going through the meditations and different stuff like that, was there any time that I don't know if I would I don't know if I would say it was toxic spirits or negative spirit. Did you ever have anything come to you that made you feel like basically like it was just telling you quit? You can't do this. Don't do this. Stop. Did you ever feel like you were being ever attacked to not keep going and you had to dig in yourself to pull it out, or how did you get to where you did you ever have any time that you wanted to quit? Usually what most people when they start and they have such a long-term goal, they get tired and they get frustrated and quit.
Yeah, I think we all have our own worst enemy, our own little devil on our shoulder
I have
speaking
a
to
couple of
us.
them.
Yeah. And I think that's just when we've got to say to that, that little guy, that little devil,
Oh,
you
you're so
know,
stupid.
I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, and I can do this. But yeah, I think every day we all struggle with that, little niggling, oh, you can't do this. You can't do this. And that's when you got to stand up. You got to push your chest up and you got to say, I can do this and I will do this. Watch me.
Wow. That is, it takes a lot of effort to do that, a lot of strength.
It does. But like I say all the time, nothing good is easy.
No, no, it isn't.
No.
Um, so how long have you been working at this?
Uh, I,
Uh,
let's see. My whole life, lived a very traumatic childhood, and
Mhm.
I wasn't going to let that define me. I wasn't going to, well, it kind of does define me because I use it to fall back on and say I overcame that. But I don't know. I think I've been doing this since I was a child, trying to better myself. So yeah.
So it says, Charmaine says, Christy leads by example. She knows her stuff.
Oh, I love you, Charmaine.
That does make a huge difference. It makes a huge
Yes.
difference.
And
I've
just
met
like
a lot
Kimberly
of
said,
people that don't.
yeah, find your tribe. I like what Kimberly just said, a good support system. And
She
that's
said,
why,
yeah.
and see, and that's another huge
It
thing
is
about,
true. That's true, Kimberly. It absolutely
yeah,
is.
empower. We have all these clients here and we're all in our own empowerment phase and growing to be better. And I love it because everybody here kind of becomes a family and we do support each other. And we're like, when we see someone go from being drab and sunken down and low to shining bright, it's like, you're just like, yes, yes.
Like I did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
You're
pulled that
like,
out of there.
we did
You're
that.
so good at yourself. Yeah, that's true. And it's I think it's energizing in itself when you start seeing those making those mile markers instead of feeling the more you make, the more it's like, whoa, I actually did that. Did you ever have those sections and those times? And I'm sure you probably have a lot of clients that do that. Maybe they usually get to a certain point and then they actually just the accomplishments that they've already have start energizing themselves to push further.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful too because they literally start to glow. I have one client in particular. We did before and after pictures, and when she first came to me, that just she you could see she was defeated feeling, and now when she walks in, she isn't just lit up; she lights the room up. You know?
Wow, so she's on a higher frequency.
Oh yeah,
A much
absolutely.
higher frequency. Now, do you guys ever, like what we had discussed, do you ever go through and teach them various things like affirmations and law of attraction or any of those types of life? Because I know you're a life coach.
Mhm.
How do you handle and teach that with people?
Absolutely. So I will, first and foremost, I'm an empath. And I literally,
Oh,
like, my clients are like, how did you know I was thinking that? I know some of you that's listening right now are like, she's a witch. Um,
don't you
but
love when they do that? And you're like, what?
yeah. So I'll pick up on things, brain waves that, that's going on with them. And I'll just ask them questions. And, I listen, I try to listen to them and then let them fully explain how they're feeling about things. And then we just get together and try to work things out. And, whether it's going to be through journaling or writing affirmations. And another big one is cleansing. A lot of times I let them come in and we work out, physically work out and talk, let it all out. Tell me everything. Tell me why you're upset. Tell me what's bothering you today. Every day I ask my clients, how are you feeling? You know, and hey, Tiffany, yes, empaths unite. So yeah, it's really cool because Tiffany, just like as you see, she's also very empathetic, and we get together and we could just read each other's thoughts. Um, it's really cool. But one of the things that I really preach to my clients is cleansing yourself, and I'll say literally just go into the shower every morning, take a shower, imagine everything just draining off of you and washing down the drain. And then when you get out of the shower and you're putting on your lotion or whatever, just simply say to yourself, I am powerful. I am empowered. I am a goddess or I am a god. And, my favorite, and Tiffany will love this, is I am worthy.
Yes. Yes. I love that one. And you need, is that on any of your t-shirts yet?
Needs to be.
That should be. Hint, hint.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be fantastic. We're we lovingly annoy each other sometimes with the mind reading.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
You're not getting away with anything.
No.
That's going to be known even if you don't say it out loud.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things that we recently did here at Empower is I've told everybody, and I have been doing this practice. My mom used to do this with me when I was a kid, is we would write down all the things, toxic behaviors or things that we wanted to leave behind in the year before. And then make that on one column. And then on the second column, things that we want to bring into our life. And so, like you were saying, affirmations, words, it could be good health. It could be happiness. It could be love. It could, it could be whatever you want it to be. Just write it down. And then we would rip it in half and we would burn the one side with all the negativity and just say, I'm
Yes.
done with that.
That's
And then,
fantastic.
yeah. And then and we would keep that other list. And then at the end of the year, look at that list and kind of do a little check mark. I did this. I did this.
So, and that's, yeah, exactly. And then you can see your accomplishments. And yeah, I do believe that. And the burning it, getting rid of the toxic energy, and actually literally ridding yourself of that. I mean, you're literally ridding yourself of that.
Yeah.
So what would you say would have been your most defining moment that made you decide that this is it? Because I've done it before. I think we all have. How many times, like, oh, I'm going to set that goal. Well, man, I had to do this. I am going to do that next week. And
Yeah.
then it's like, oh man, I am going to do that. And then all at once, next thing you know, is like, I was going to do that back in January, and it's July. Well, you know what? Next year, I'm going to end up I swear to goodness, I'm going to set the goal and I'm going to do it this year. What was your defining moment when you said, no, there's not going to be a tomorrow? It's right now, today.
Honestly, it was my daughters. It was my girls. They were real little, and it was 2001. My one was 2 years old. My other one was 3.5. And I looked at them and I said, I am not going to raise them thinking that I look down on myself. I'm not going to raise them downing myself when they look up to me. Because then when they look up to me and I'm downing myself and I'm being negative to myself, what are they going to say to themselves? And
Right.
so I looked at them and I just said, I've got to do this for myself and for them.
Wow. See, that's fantastic. So you even you understand the generational
Oh yeah.
portion of this.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic, and you've stuck to it. Curtis Burgeon says that Christy told me a positive affirmation that has changed my life.
I did. Yes. And I'm so proud that Curtis is on here. He is actually one of our other empowerment coaches here, and
What?
you should definitely have him on the show one day because he is great. He's always about posting affirmations. Every single day he posts affirmations, and it's quite lovely. It's awesome.
Johnny Wireman said, "I am feeling nothing but positive energy from watching this show." You know what, Johnny? I genuinely hope that you do. Johnny just lost his mother. Um,
Mm, mm, mm,
what
mm,
an extremely
mm.
just a colorful woman, colorful family. I mean, just fantastic. The whole family will put on like theatrical clothing. Kid you
Yeah.
not. And they will wear these clothing. So I'm just the coolest people ever. So yeah, you deserve, yeah, you needed to feel this positive energy. And actually, Christy is fantastic at it. So I am glad you are feeling that. Um, so what was the positive, the affirmation that Christy had given you, Curtis, if you don't mind, if you could type that later and let us see what that was. We're going to see what your affirmation words are. I see my sister's on here. She said they absolutely, talking about the children, she's agreeing with you. She said they absolutely look into the mirror. They see the way they see you do.
Yes. Beautiful. It's beautifully said.
Yeah, that sure is.
Hmm.
Just- I'm in love with. She has my two little nieces. I'm goofy
Mm,
over these two kids. I swear,
hmm.
to gosh, I love them to death. They're
Yeah.
the cutest things ever. Um, so I would imagine, I would surely see it, especially when I see the two of you play. For those that don't know, Christy's husband is a professional drummer, and actually he's an extremely good drummer. I'm picky about music, I really am, and he's in a fantastic band, and they're not just musicians; they're really super fantastic people. Everybody in the whole band. It's really kind of surprising. So I would imagine that there are times, because I know a lot of musicians and what they've went through, and um, there's so many times that something happens that you've got your hopes up and this is going on and everything, and just the rug gets pulled out from underneath, or various activities happen. What is it that I would assume you and Greg, probably Greg is her husband, by the way. I would assume you two probably even have like a I don't know what you call it. I wouldn't call it routine, but it does have to become routine. Is there like a go-to that you guys have anytime that you guys have a problem with different things, and you're like, hey, we're going to keep our vibration up, and we're not going to let this small setback affect us, whether it's in your life or his? Is there, like, 'cause with being a life coach and being married, I imagine that's kind of like having to be a life coach for two versus one.
Yeah. We work out together. We literally go and lift weights together. And while we're working out, lifting weights and sweating, we talk and we talk it out. And sometimes it's heated, sometimes it's passionate, sometimes we disagree. But, we have those moments where we're in the middle of working out. It's such a great time to talk. It's such a great time to let things out. And I highly recommend all couples work out together because it is a great time to work out energy that's kind of like down inside there.
Yeah, like the toxic energy. Curtis said that don't chase, attract. What
Yes.
belongs to you will find you. I like that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, he tattooed it on his arm.
Did he really?
Yes, yes.
Wow, how cool. You know what? You're not going to forget that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know if he ever forgets it, he could just like look at it, right?
Yeah, it's like, you better have that memorized by now. That's for showing other people.
But it's so true because like you said, it's the vibrations and you don't chase. You don't have to chase anything. You just attract it by just simply saying I am.
Yeah, exactly. Law of attraction. To
Hmm.
put that frequency out there and just, you know, bring it into fruition. Erica Golf said, Christy's positivity has not only impacted my life, but my daughter's lives as well. She's such a light to everyone who follows her to be.
Y'all
That is
giving
wonderful.
y'all giving me the vapors.
And
I mean, look at that.
I know Greg's sitting there saying, well, so I've been saying this all along.
I'm getting a red nose in the vapors. Look at me. Thank you, Erica. Thank you.
Now,
see that this is our tribe. You know, we have a huge support system, and we all want to see each other glowing. And I just, gosh, I'm so thankful for all of you guys. Thank you for tuning in too.
And you are a super blessing too. Now, would you like to, I would like for you to tell the viewers that, are watching that aren't familiar with you and don't know you, how they can reach out, how they can contact you, where they can get in touch with you, and, what you offer to help people change their lives.
I run a place called Empower Studio LLC. It's in Ludlow, Kentucky. And, if you can't come here in person, that's okay. I meet people online every day. I have certain times every day that I will meet with groups of people, or if you need private sessions, we can get together on a private session through Zoom and talk. We can even work out through Zoom, and I can watch you and watch your form. And I tell you every move to make. I tell you if you need to arch your back more, if you need to lift your chest. So that's going to be Empower Studio LLC. And you can also put that into your email system, empowerstudiollc@gmail.com. Send me an email and I'll give you all the links and hookups and make arrangements there too. Or you can find me on Facebook, Christy Sloan. That is SLONE. And Empower Studio is on there as well, on Facebook. And we also have an Instagram page.
Now, if there's any of this that you may have missed, this is a recorded podcast, so you can go back and review it and write down the information that you needed to contact Christy. If there's anything that you could possibly miss, and really, honestly, I'd watch it again too. The more you watch something, the more you remember what you heard, and then the more it just clicks. I mean, for me, it does. It just clicks. Now, I'm going to thank you for coming. I'm going to pull up one of our other guests. We might even talk with each other. You hang out in the back, and he's going to put you in the green room, and I might pull you right back up, but I'm going to pull up Robin. She's waiting for us, and I love you. I'll see you at the concert, too, as a matter of fact, next week. And hi, we have Robin White. Robin, she is with Angelic Alchemy, and we're going to get a little bit metaphysical here. We went from our law of attractions and teaching people how to do affirmations and law of attractions to doing something that they can actually tangibly touch. And sometimes we need that extra, and this is Robin. She's cute as can be. Look at your bohemian self. I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I love both of your studios. Oh my gosh, I love Sterling Center. I just put a bedroom in the back, and that I could just go through the library and the apothecary. I love that place.
Thank you so much.
I could just, no words on the jewelry.
Oh yeah. Oh honey, I'm loaded for bear. I am so loaded for bear.
What do you have on, and what are their abilities and powers, their attributes?
Okay. So primarily what I normally wear, my go-to crystal. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfectly.
Great. My go-to crystal is Petersite.
Really?
Yes. If you'll notice, I have Petersite right here. I have Petersite here.
Oh, look at the veins. It's beautiful.
Aren't they gorgeous?
Yeah,
this is my go-to crystal, and I'll explain why in a minute. I also have Petersite on my necklace. So, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me. I was listening to the beginning of the podcast with you, and I was literally jumping out of my chair, wanting to interject. I mean, your words literally were coming out of my mouth. I am so
good.
I was so excited.
The universe lined us up.
Yes. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love the tribe. I love this tribe. So that being said, I also have Peter's site in front of me. Now, Peter's site is known as the storm crystal. Okay. What it does is not only does it work with you in light of if you travel a lot, it's a good traveling crystal, but I am a reader and I channel. And this is an amazing channeling crystal. So if you're wanting to open yourself up as a vessel for spirit to channel through you, Petersite is what you want.
Wow,
It is a very, I have a Petersite beaded bracelet. I wear it all over me. And I'm just extremely excited to share what Petersite does. All of our customers know me as that Petersite girl. It's my thing, but I also wear, just so you know, this ring came from Israel.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
And this is a quartz. Now, quartz vibrates at the speed of light. When you put quartz with any other crystal, it will raise the vibration of the crystal that it's around. So if you notice, I wear a lot of different crystals.
And what she's saying is actually, it's proven scientific, what she's saying.
Yes, exactly. So with that being said, I will show you just a few things that I have. This is blue kyanite. Okay, kyanite works with the throat.
Kimberly said, nice. She said, my knowledge of crystals is pretty basic. Well, actually, we've got a master online right now. So let me tell you, Robin knows.
I love that. I love that. Well, anything that I can do to help, please feel free to ask questions. So back to what I was saying. So this is a kyanite. As you'll see, I have a lot of blues, light blues, morganite. I have opalite. That is another very, very high vibrational crystal. I have angelic right here. This is angelite. This is K2. K2 is a detoxifying crystal.
Yes.
So say that you have issues of environmental toxins that you deal with, or you have an issue of possible cancer cells or possible in the body. I'm not saying this as a physician because I am not, but I will say K2 is azurite and granite. And it also, too, will detoxify the body. So what happens with this is when these crystals start, I'm trying to get in here, get dark, they will darken. That's where it's showing that it's working. So when you put it into dirt and leave it there for 30 days, from one full moon to the next full moon, it will clear itself. It's like healing its own self.
So it re-cleanses itself.
Re-cleanses, yes.
Wow, that's pretty nice.
Also,
it's not in the moon and it's not in the sun. You're using it actually in the soil.
You put it in the dirt.
Expelling that into the soil.
Yeah, it goes back to where it came from. Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that part. I didn't. That's pretty neat.
Yes. The other thing that I love to wear for anyone out there that's dealing with negative energy. Okay.
And there's so many toxins in our environment now, even our food itself. It's just, I mean, I'm down even to raw foods, and even with that, you totally. So many things. So yeah, that would help cleanse the body. That's really essential right now.
It really is. And I'm a big promoter of the K2s. Very big promoter. You can get these in a pendant. You can get them in earrings. You can get them in a bracelet. You can get them in a ring. So I'm a very big promoter of this particular crystal, for sure.
I love that.
Now, with that being said, all crystals have a purpose. So you have to kind of understand them like a vitamin. Okay. Your body gets depleted of vitamins, various types of vitamins that cause blockages through the piezoelectricity or
the
all of the chakras. Yes. So
And
what
for
these
those that don't
crystals
know what it
do,
is, piezoelectricity is like the latent energy that you have
yes,
inside your body. It's your latent energy.
correct. So what these do is it helps to clear blockages in the body. It works just like you taking a vitamin. And people
Wow.
wear their jewelry. We wear our crystals. This is elite noble shungite. I wear this for protection on a daily basis. It guards against negative energy. It
Which there's
also,
plenty of now.
oh, everywhere, right?
You wear that thing.
It does guard against negative energy. So it also works for 5G. And I know that you and I
Right.
talked briefly.
Yeah, I've been
5G,
interested in that.
yeah, 5G, anytime you're working on laptops, computers, cell phones, smartphones, you're near cell towers, any of the 5G frequencies were not meant for this body to
No.
consume. It causes toxins to build up in the body. So when you wear something protective, it helps to guard your energy field so that you're not taking on negative frequencies. Okay. Now, I know that you and I talked yesterday, and I know we're fairly new getting to know each other.
Yeah,
So I make organite.
I seen. Oh yeah. I have some pictures actually,
Yeah,
Brandon. If yeah, I have pictures of the organite pyramids that you had made.
thank you.
Those are
I woke
fantastic.
up, I woke up from a dream in 2008. I had a dream to make organite. I had never heard of organite, did not know what it was or what it did. So I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I need to find out what organite
Yeah,
is.
it's
So I
wonderful.
started researching. I ran out and I bought resins and, you know, various, I could not get the formula right.
There you go.
It is a
She's
formula.
actually hand making these. And organite is made out of actual natural crystals.
Correct.
So what she's making
Crystals
here is
and
out of natural
minerals.
crystals, and a lot of them can be lit. And as you see, she does have various like artistic elements in them too.
Correct.
And just I've seen a lot of them made, and they're just basic. Yours are very artistic. Yours
Thank
are actual
you.
pieces of art. They're
Thank
spectacular.
you.
That is
Well,
beautiful.
you know what I do? I literally take when someone commissions
Okay.
me or asks me to purchase, you know, to make them a piece of organite, I take it and I meditate on the
I was going to
energy
ask about that.
of the person. They tell me go intuitive and you make it how I'm supposed to have it. And that's exactly
That's
what I
right.
do. So I meditate on it and I allow spirit to show me what crystals need to be added. What, you know, we add selenite. I'm sorry, I had a in. That was Dawn.
Oh, was it? Tell her she can't be watching this. She needs to be doing her homework. She's coming up.
Yeah,
I think next week.
exactly. Um, at any rate, I make pendants. All of these are textured pendants because a lot of people have textured. It helps to relieve anxiety. So if you're
Yeah.
dealing with anxiety, depression, you have these issues. And when you meditate and you rub a pendant that has black tourmaline that's risen up on
I
top
got
of it, or you have a coil, correct. And when you rub it, it helps to
That's what
brings
I do with
down.
mine.
Yes.
I spin
So
it inwards, and then I'll sit there and I'll rub it.
I love it. I love it. Also, too, I'm a reader like yourself. I've
Huh?
been reading for many years. I do a lot of readings at Seraph by the River and Sterling Seraph, but I've read all over the world. I kind of stepped back from my Facebook platform, but I still have a really great clientele of people who reach out to me. So I do video readings. She's still calling me. Can you tell Sue?
And Dawn is the one that said you've got to call Robin, so she knows you're on.
She does.
I'm going to tell her.
Here.
She knew she was on the podcast.
So anyway, for
Like, what are
those
you
who don't
doing here?
know about Organite, so Dr. Wilhelm Reich, who was a doctor out of Australia, he's basically known as the father of orgone energy. And he studied physical bioenergy, the basis of Sigmund Freud. Okay,
Yes.
so he
Okay.
studied under that. And he realized that people who went through traumatic life experiences, this was affecting their physical and mental health. So, with that being said, he actually came up with something that harnessed Oregon energy to be able to work directly with piezoelectricity. That's how this all came about. But then when you add crystals to it and you put it into a confined resin, it squeezes not only the metals, it squeezes the metals and the crystals. I use conductors as well in my
And what
pieces.
electricity does for people that don't know, latent energy, it has to have an interactive thing. Like if you, even being blown upon by wind, but especially if the more you push on it and the pressure, that releases more of that energy. So, what you're doing is creating a stronger energy.
Sorry to jump in, but Robin, what is your website? People are asking, and I want to be able to promote it for you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Actually,
that's the wizard. Actually, he's not the wizard. That's the shaman behind the curtain.
That's the shaman.
That's the shaman behind the curtain.
Actually, I currently do not have a website. You can reach me through Facebook is the best way to reach me.
And actually, I gave her card. If you could load up her card, it has angelic alchemy. It'll be like a pink and a lavender, I think it was.
Yes, it's angelic alchemy, and my phone number is on there.
It should be one of the images that I uploaded. It's Angelic Alchemy by Robin.
Yeah, it's actually Robin Wright, like the actress.
Oh, does say Robin Wright on it?
I always tell people, because my name is spelled just like Robin Wright, the actress that was married to Sean Penn. And I said, I got her name, but I didn't get that money.
You know what? There's a lot of burden with some of that stuff.
I'm not joking. It's kind of crazy.
We probably have it better off than they do. Kimberly Horn asked, and it is a great question. She said, Robin, do you use lapis lazuli? And she said Cleopatra's eyeliner was made out of this.
Now, that's fascinating to know, but I have heard that. Yes, I do use lapis. I have lapis. If you were to see the wall behind me right now from where I'm sitting, I have every crystal you can imagine. It's a whole shelf of crystals.
Has all that positive going on.
Yes. Well, you know what? In the kind of line of work that you and I do, we work with people who have been through traumatic experiences. Most don't come in for readings unless there's been some kind of trauma in their life. So I also, too, just as your prior guest, I loved her.
That is usually the motivator.
Excuse me?
I said, yeah, that usually is the motivator.
It is the motivator. And the way that I explain it to people is spirit will shake you to wake you. When you're in a comfort zone and you feel like the world is just all good, you don't really seek the higher ascensions. You don't really seek things. I don't say that people all have to go through trauma, but what I am saying is a lot of gifted people, empathic people, light workers like myself and yourself, we've been through traumatic experiences in our life where we have had to learn from those and grow from those and allow our energy levels to raise up. It's kind of going through all the shadow work that we have to go through. Shadow work is very dirty work, folks. And it's hard to go through. But let me promise you that at the end of it all, you're going to look back and you're going to say, I don't know who that person was, but I know who this one
Yep.
And you'll appreciate where you are and where you came from. It's super important to understand balance and to understand that there is a yin to the yang in this universe, to the good, to the bad. When you speak forth words, they don't fall to the ground, y'all. They do not. Our words go out into the atmosphere and they will circle and they create. It's DNA.
Yes. Create.
Okay. Everything about us is DNA connected to the universe.
Absolutely.
You moving your hand in a motion creates a stirring of DNA.
Sure does.
Fascinating, right?
It's
So what I'm getting at,
that.
yeah, healing.
It's humbling and mind-boggling at the same exact time. But
all
then
at
it
once.
empowers you to go, whoa, is that
What
really?
was that?
Instead of going, oh, I'm human, you go, whoa, I'm human.
Right. Exactly. Well, I believe that as you grow, and
I
I'm
agree with you,
speaking for
Angela.
anyone who has gone through major traumas in their life, I know from experience, I've dealt with depression, I've dealt with anxiety, I have dealt with fear and loss and trauma. And I feel that, and it's scriptural, to much that's given, much is required. And I feel that we, as
I
a
do agree with you.
unity, a network of energy, have to help by holding up the hands of those who can't. So we've been gifted, folks. When I feel there's labels that have been put on us as a culture or a society, you need to be on an antidepressant, you need to be on this, you need to be on that. And it's a numbing factor. They go in and desensitize what you really need to be ascending from. And I'm not a doctor, so please don't go
paid and
stop your
hurt.
medication. Don't do that.
Yeah,
Right? But
we're not saying to
understand,
do that.
you have gifting, you're gifted. And I explain that to many that I work with. I work very closely as a certified dream interpreter. I'm a certified Reiki master. I am certified as far as working with with people one-on-one. I found that that's where I really shine, I guess is the
That
word.
brings out like your personal, you can tap into what you've went through yourself, but you also as an empath can feel those
Yes.
emotions. You're able to harness a wealth of experience there.
Yes. And being a clairsentient and a clairaudient and a claircognate reader, which is I see, I feel, and I hear energy past or present. I don't claim to be a medium or a psychic. Energies just are energy and they
It
come
just
to you,
happens. Yep,
right?
it just happens.
So I feel very blessed in having that gifting. But it's a matter of meditation, using your crystals, getting yourself in a place of peace and calm, doing ritual baths, using your salt baths, allowing things to flow through you and over you, and learning how to use the tools that you've been given. I don't claim to be anything special. We all have these gifts.
Yep.
We all have them. It's just,
Yep.
what have you been programmed to believe?
Yeah, it's become so there's so much, and that's why I'm glad that I think that humanity has gotten to the point to where, and especially after this 2020 great reset or whatever it is that's happening, I think humanity has finally gotten to the point to where we've hurt enough as a whole, and even individually. I mean, so many people's lost so many loved ones so recently, but as a whole and as a humanity. And at the same time, though, over here, we've had enough truths come out, like say about archaeology or historical truth. Columbus was never in America, folks. There's so many different things that we're finding out, or about, King Arthur really did exist in Wales. A lot of these things that we're starting to find out, that was hidden up out from us and covered up. And one of those is just like you're saying, it's the taboo of the paranormal. Oh, don't do that, or don't look into this, and it keeps us from getting into this. And I think part of it, and a huge amount of that, is a lot of the big pharma. I think big pharma, if they get us to go get a crystal or to do this and that,
Amen.
we're not running out here and buying this, $300 script of medication
You're
because we're
right.
self-medicating. And it's just,
Absolutely
it's so
right.
much better. Now, you mentioned anxiety. Is there a crystal that for you feel is a good crystal for? Oh, hey, there's the shaman.
There's the shaman.
There's my shaman.
I don't hear him.
I don't hear him either. He's being a mime. He's a French shaman.
You could call me Marseille Marceau.
Okay, Marseille.
Robin, if you could tell us again how to get in touch with you, we will type it into a banner and have it run across the bottom.
And there should be a business card in there too.
It didn't upload, so
no.
I know we're kind of working on it.
You know what? So you can find me on Facebook through Seraph by the River.
And that's SERAPH for those that are just now beginning to learn about this journey.
Correct. Seraph by the River is one of the stores that I work with Dawn Singleton. Love this store. It's in Hamilton, Ohio. You can message me through Seraph by the River, or you can message me through Sterling Seraph, which is our other location. I answered either one in Messenger. You can also reach me directly on my personal Facebook page, which is Robin Wright, WRIGHT, and it's Angelic Alchemy by Robin. But I believe on my Facebook, it just says Angelic Alchemy.
I'm not sure. And there's Lalu. Hey, Lalulu. She's over in Arizona. She said, that's me. I'm very shy about my gifts. Yes. I think a lot of people are like that. We've been made to feel it's taboo.
We have.
I am blessed. I was brought up in a family of Baptist-costals. That's what they call them. They started the first churches of God in this area, and actually a huge one out here by the highway and stuff. But at the same time, we were blessed. See, were you too? See? And at the same time, we were very blessed, though.
Yes.
They didn't think twice about if they saw something, they told it. And both sides of our family, even my mom's paternal and maternal, and they've just been gifted in so many ways. So I don't know sometimes if it's a blessing or if it's a positive to swear that, but I at least was brought up in that situation to where we weren't really raised to, don't tell anybody you heard a spirit.
Exactly. We were kind of kept.
Ghosts don't really exist, kind of things. You hear a lot of that. I mean, all you hear is demon.
Yes.
If they're really that into it, which I've went down that rabbit hole for, I think I spent a decade on that one. But when you go down those rabbit holes, angels were just as bad and demons could be just as good if they really want to check into it. She said, I grew up in Catholic roots. Now, you see, you talk about a pagan religion. No, I'm going to be,
Oh, no, come on.
That's a whole other episode or two.
This could be a few shows.
Especially when you get into the Catholic Church.
Oh, man. Well, let me tell you what.
They just wanted the monopoly on paranormal abilities is what it was. They wanted paid for it.
I was raised in a very strict Christian upbringing. And it took literally, even though I went through my awakening at 11 years old, okay?
Wow,
11. That was a lot for a young person who was being raised in a church that was being told, don't talk about that. Don't say that. You're not allowed to talk to people who've crossed. People shouldn't come to you. And I'm like, my own grandparents were coming to me. My brother who had crossed came to me. I had various ones. And I'm like, I'm thinking I'm losing my mind. Something was wrong with me, and it's not true. It took me coming
No.
out of the quote unquote church as
Yeah.
a religion and to operate in my spiritual, which is what we're supposed to
Your
do,
true self.
folks. Our true
Yeah.
self.
The paranormal, I mean, if we looked at it more correctly, the paranormal is the normal.
It is.
It is the normal. I mean, a lot, and that's you see so many things that go back and forth that people. There's so many contradictions even in that. Just like, I mean, literally, you're told, and he tells it, as far as the Hebraic text,
Yeah.
the Christian and Judeo uh, books. In the Talmud and in the Christian Bibles, you're told to go out and get an unhewn stone and make that into your altar.
Yeah.
That's rock. Go actually get an actual rock. Don't go chipping on my rock. I made it perfect. Go get a rock and use this rock. But okay, I'm not supposed to have this rock around my neck. Why?
I know, right?
I'm
I
not
mean,
supposed to be using these rocks around my wrist. Why?
these breathe, okay? Just like the word breathes, just like you breathe. Crystals breathe. They have a life and an energy all their own that works directly with us. We are all networked. One thing that I've learned during all of this with Organite and readings and Reiki and dream interpretation, all of the things that I operate in and I have for many years, all wraps around frequency, all wraps around
Absolutely.
energy.
It
There's
does.
three primary, and you can listen to many frequencies. The three primaries are going to be your 432 hertz. And I
Yes.
tell this to my clients, 432, 528, and 633. Three frequencies. Okay. The 432 is a God frequency. It's celestial. Okay. The 528 is a telestial. That's even higher. And then you've got the 633. Now, folks,
and that
5G
creates a
operates.
nice, even, powerful balance.
Yes.
It sure
You
does.
get these energy vampires out there that will come to the light. You are a light of energy. When you get dark energy around you, you'll feel it. It's like, ooh. And you feel this kind of, ugh. And it's like, that's your energy telling you, be aware of it.
Yep.
Push away from
Believe
that.
yourself.
Yes.
Yep, believe yourself.
Guard yourself. This is that when a person is true and a person is being who they're supposed to be. Your frequency feels it. But when you're in oppression, depression, anything that puts a thumb on you, you will feel yourself shrink into that energy. That is not what we're to do. This is when you need to sever and separate yourself.
Move yourself
from those. Yes, ma'am. And it's like,
and don't worry about and I've done it before. My youngest sister, she's so cool. There's a lot of times that she says things and I'm like, well, I thought I was the older one, but she really does. She does things like and just flat out, she goes, I give them one chance. No, I'm done. No, why do you give people continuous chances to take your energy?
And that's what they do.
They're going to take your energy again because they proved they already did that.
Correct.
And especially if it's somebody that's not like in the negative, toxic type thing. And you're absolutely right about that. I mean, it is. It's usually those that you let do that, once they do realize they can get it, well, they need energy. So they're going to keep creating a circumstance that they're taking more energy from you.
Yes.
And whether it's guilt or various items.
The majority of people who want to, again, I call them energy vampires, who want to suck the life from you or the light from you are generally more on the narcissistic side. They have a tendency to want to control the empath. It's very well known. Empathic people will draw wounded energy. We just do. We
It
will
does.
draw
They
them
migrate.
to us
They do.
because we work in healing. We work in helping people. But when you get those that don't really want help,
It is
they
La Lily.
just,
You're right.
yeah, they just want to suck it out of you. And then they come back and go, well, why didn't that work? Well, okay, let's see what you did with it. You know, it
Becky has a
happens.
good question, and actually, you would know this answer. I know of other things, but as far as what she could do on an immediate, to me, would be metaphysical. Becky Evans asked, "I'm around quite a lot of them, the energy vampires." She said, "But I have to take care of my dad, who I think is one." Now, if you're in a situation where you are a caregiver to a family, and especially a parent, you're not going to be able to remove yourself from that. How does somebody, what stones could a person wear and what metaphysical things besides burning sage? But I don't know. He may have a breathing problem, so she might not be able to do that. Um, what
Yeah,
could
you
she
can,
wear to keep herself protected from that situation?
Becky, get you a piece of elite noble shungite. Elite noble. This is what I wear to protect me against those kind of energies. Also, you can sage yourself prior to going and taking care of your
And
father,
when you leave,
unless,
too.
yeah, unless he lives right in the residence with you. But there are blessing sprays that you can put on you. There are things that you can do to protect yourself
Yeah, and
prior to
keep
taking
yourself
care of him.
anointed.
You need something like black tourmaline,
Okay, now
elite
she
noble.
says she already has one.
She has a black tourmaline. Does he live in the house
I
with
think
her?
she's talking about it in Elite. I don't know. She hasn't said yet. Does he live in the house with you, Becky? We'll have to wait until she messages back.
That's fine. That, those are the strongest protections, but maybe she might need to add a piece of clear quartz to that because
Yes,
that's
she
going to
said yes,
raise
he
the
does live with
vibration.
her.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're going to need a constant state of protection and, even not just the protection, to be honest. And this is what it's kind of like a catch-22 where somebody is a caregiver. You have to do self-care. And part of that self-care is you have to remove yourself from that situation to not just take a quick shower and get dressed and eat something or hang out with friends. You've got to take time to cleanse. I mean, get that energy away from you. You've got to completely cleanse yourself, take the cleansing baths. Actually, they have the cleansing baths there at Seraph at your
Yes,
studios. Remember right? I
yes,
thought I
we
said,
do.
yeah, so I grabbed, yeah. Um,
The other
Keep
thing,
yourself cleansed and protected.
the other thing too, Becky, that would be very helpful, and I know this sounds simple, but I'm not joking. Every time I do a reading, I have to sever my reading. Okay. You will know this, Deana, by severing. You have to sever your reading because if not, we as
Yeah.
empathic people, sensitives, whatever you want to call us, light workers, we will hold that energy to ourselves because we're channeling it. You were doing the same thing, sweetheart. So, in
She
order to do that, you can do something very simple. Sever. You can cleanse. I sever. Speak forth. I sever any negative energy that is coming near me or trying to affect me. I sever it. I let it go and release it. Don't hang on to it. That is the biggest mistake we make, is that we
Yes.
don't know how to let go. And I know
And if
it's
you
your
are
dad.
having various things that are happening, never forget, and this is something that I had to get myself into a constant ritual of doing. And I mean, it's just now it's an automatic. I should say ritual. I should say routine of doing. And now it's an
Yes.
automatic. I don't care what the situation is, even if you're away from him and you start thinking and you start worrying about different things, you have to tell yourself, I do not give you permission to breach whatever boundaries it is that you set up, whether it's emotional or this and that. But at the same time, if it's an energy boundary, you can be over there washing dishes and he's over there and you're thinking about, I don't know if he's you're saying he's an energy vampire. I don't know if you're going through a situation to where you can't do enough and he says something negative, or if you're, oh, I wish you're just not like your sister, or I wish your sister was, if it would, no matter what it is or what that situation is, or your brother wouldn't have done that, or whatever it is somebody says, make sure that you tell yourself, your own spirit, I do not give you permission to trespass upon, my thoughts and the way I feel about myself and my self-esteem. And that's that's part of
that's total healing,
self-protection. It's a complete healing. And the universe, believe it or not, and you may have to do it again, because 10 seconds later that thought will come right back again. Do it again. I don't care if you do it 400 times a day. Do it again. And eventually, these different things that are coming, these negative energies that are attacking you, are like, it's not working with her. We need to go to the guy down the block because we're not getting any energy off of her.
Right.
Just keep doing it.
It will get easier. Yeah,
it really does.
Definitely. It will get easier. And it's the more that you operate in it, it's just like a spiritual muscle. When you're working out in the gym, you build the strength. When you work out that spiritual muscle, man, you can just do so many things with the spiritual muscle. So make sure you're working your spiritual side. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you're reinforcing that. You know what? If you need to, this is funny, but a lot of times I will walk around, and if I'm feeling negative energy, I'll ring a bell.
Gremlin bell.
Ring a bell, man. Keep a bell near you. It will snap you out of where your thought
actually, and a lot of the different and the smaller bells, it's the frequency of that bell too.
Yes.
It is.
Yes, exactly. I love my singing bowls.
Lulu says, I work in a medical field, and when I feel weighed down with heavy energy, I spray myself down with sage liquid spray and a rum selenite over myself to reset my alarm. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Selenite is a great one. Look, selenite, I keep selenite around.
Sure do.
Selenite. Rub it down your shoulders, releasing anything. Listen, anybody that works in the medical field or works out in the community or anywhere, you don't know what other energies are picking up and bringing to you.
She meant to say run selenite. It's just a typographical error. It's RUN.
Yeah. Run selenite up and down. Yeah. So it does. It's a cleanser. It does remove negative energy. Definitely. There's many different things that
I'm going to tell you that works out really good if you can get somebody to do that for you now.
You know what? I'm not that fortunate.
I'm not either. Actually, I've got a dog over here trying to vie for the camera.
Spirit kind of severed all my marriage went away. 2008, my life shifted massively. And honestly, I grew. I was kind of like, I want a man in my life, but I grew to accept.
I like the remote an awful lot. I don't know.
Me too, honey. I grew to accept the fact that I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if there was a person, honestly, right now. Now, not to say that down the road somebody won't come in. I just haven't been manifesting that person.
I'm busy manifesting. I'm manifesting rings right now. Now listen, man. I'm manifesting pendants and rings.
I got things to do. I'm busy. I just am not manifesting a man.
That's somebody asked me that the other day, and I said, I don't know. I've never really thought about it. It didn't occur to me. It doesn't even occur to me.
It's not. I'm like in the good place. I just don't need it.
I'm like, I'm good.
I've grown to be in a good spot without. I think I got very independent of me and very selfish, like you said, of the remote. And I like my movies, and I don't want to have to share that.
Mine would be like dueling podcasts. I live on YouTube. I swear I
What
live.
did Rena say? I'm going to do this as well. Awesome.
Yeah, she's
I
she's
love it.
Lulu. She's doing that is a great idea too, because she is right as far as not even just somebody that has breathing problems. You can't just light up sage at work.
No, you can't.
And you really are right about that. But now, with not just burning the sage, though, I do. I mean, and there are other products that, and I actually keep sage. I usually do have like a little piece of sage or something with me anyway.
All the time.
I
have Palo
usually,
Santo.
metaphysically, I usually keep something like a botany type piece. I usually keep some sort of nature with me, and I keep a metaphysical with me.
I love it.
Yeah, and really, a lot of people, it doesn't even have to necessarily be something natural. If there's something that you have a positive
Yes.
foundation with, a positive memory or something that just makes you feel positive. I mean, it could be a picture of a unicorn, or it could be a bracelet that really makes you feel good about yourself, or a particular color or something. Put that in there, man. Sometimes if you really feel like you're in the office and you're in the cubicle and it's like, oh my gosh, or you're dealing with employees that's whatever, just take and spin it, give it a little look. It doesn't have to be something that's really big and extravagant. Keep it in your pocket. My mom,
a lot of women put
little rubbing stones that would say like faith on them. Well, now you're going back to that Baptist Costal. Have you got that prayer cloth pinned on your bra?
Put in the bra.
Don't you go out the door till you pin this in your bra.
Oh my God. I'm telling you, I have women that come in to the shop and they're like, I'm like, do you have this crystal? Do you have that? And they'll literally pull a handful out.
Oh, yes.
And they have them in there. I'm like, honey, we do have satchels and little bags and gonza bags. Nope. I want them right there in my bra. Okay. Whatever works for you.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. We've hit at 10:02. I am going to have you back again if you would be interested.
Thank you. I had such a wonderful time.
Well, Lulu says I put rocks in my bra too. See,
it works.
There you go. The tissues. You don't need any tissues. Actually, I was at the prayer circle once. I turned around. This was years ago. I still did. I looked down. My preacher probably thought I did stuff my shirt. I had all these tissues from crying, so sticking out of my shirt. Crystals, that's probably a lot better.
Yeah. We
can make bras with pockets.
We have so much
to have you back.
About. We've had our background sounds so similar.
They mesh.
I'm looking forward to getting to know you more.
And I really appreciate you coming on to the podcast. We've had a fantastic time. And actually, our interactive viewers and guests, it looks like they've had a fantastic time too. They've spoken with you. I hope that pretty soon that you guys come back and visit us again next week. And there are several other fantastic podcasts that are on this network. It's Sky Door Entertainment Network. I'll be posting on my page links where you can go and look at all the other podcasts that the other hosts have. And they really are. They're fantastic, top quality podcasts. But also, if you if you're not on mine, there's Sky Door Entertainment. You'll see that it's right there in the middle of the comments. Tap it. You'll go to it. The schedule will be there for the lineup for the other podcast on there too. And I hope to see you guys again. Oh, thank you, Kimberly. It's fantastic. I was a little bit nervous about it at first, but great guests and actually great interactive viewers. You guys helped to make the show fantastic, and I really appreciate you guys doing that. And I hope you guys have a blessed week, and I will see you next week. Thank you very much.